Most shocking thing was that 27 out of that number were aged between 8 and 14. Children who worked up to 16 hours in the jet black without any light of any kind. The good people of Felling suddenly started to be haunted by 3 children, believed to be Thomas Gordon, aged 8, Michael Hunter, aged 8, and Thomas Craggs, aged 9, who all lost their lives on that day. Families would hear footsteps racing around their homes, children laughing, and countless practical jokes. Food was being opened and partially eaten, and on one occasion 3 tiny spirits were seen turning a living room upside down. Dozens of blessings and exorcisms took place there to try and rid the area of these unwanted entities. Yet they've had limited success, as some families in Felling still claim to have regular encounters with the 3. In 2008, along Holly Hill in Felling, 7 separate reports of ghosts. At one house, a young girl, Claire, aged 10, was trying to sleep when 3 boys around her age started talking to her. She thought it was a dream and chatted back. The boys began to trash her room noisily, and she was laughing at their antics. Her parents heard this too and ran upstairs and clearly heard male voices coming from their daughter's room. On wading in, Claire was there on her own, the room in turmoil. On seeing her parents, Claire said, "Where did they go?" Yet on Carlisle Road in Felling, there is a house that has no idea of exactly how much death it shared. This house was built at the very point where a safety shaft had been built with the colliery. When it had its original house erected there, in the cellar, they found the bodies of 8 young men who had tried to escape a cave-in by racing up the so-called escape shaft. Instead, rocks from the cave-in closed the shaft behind them, and the escape shaft was blocked. All 8 of them died trapped there of starvation. The contractor knew that to report these deaths would hold up construction, and he wouldn't get his bonus. So instead, these poor men were bundled into sacks and late at night dragged down to the Tyne on high tide and dropped in. This exacerbated the ghostly activity, and the first few people in the house suffered from a vast range of unpleasantness. One baby suffered a cot death. His mother claimed that a dirty man had suffocated the child with a pillow. The pillow did have coal dust handprints on it. Over the 2 years later, houses on that street had no manner of activity. And it's happened right up to the present date. As recently as 2009, a tenant had an experience that's impossible to explain. The tenant, a lady called Janine, was asleep when she felt someone dive on top of her. The assault seemed to last for 20 minutes and was sexual in nature. Her breasts suffered huge handprint bruises. The thighs were badly bruised, and according to the hospital, there had been penetration of some kind. Yet Janine said, "I saw this dirty man on top of me and I was screaming. He was filthy black and I could smell this awful, awful breath. I was fighting with him, and that's why my arms are covered in scratches." Later that month, she missed a period. Thankfully, it returned the following month. With huge swathes of Northumberland, Tyneside, Wearside, Durham and Teesside crisscrossed with pit workings, where good men and small children lost their lives. Perhaps we should all be expecting a lot more visitations.